Welcome, welcome, welcome. Uh, mm. Now, it's your boy Karceno here. And I'm going to hang out with you guys, if you don't mind, just for a bit. No, I saw the game, in case you're wondering. The OKC Thunder versus thank you, appreciate it, versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. And it is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Uh, First of all, I was more amazed. To me, the biggest event was the post-game interview. That was the most surprising to me of anything about it. This game was a runaway, an absolute runaway. Anthony came off as the biggest fan of SGA I've ever seen. Canada in the finals, baby. SGA MVP. Yeah, you might see Drake or the doggone like he did something like, yeah, SGA. That's why SGA was in my video, and Kendrick had DeRozan in his. DeRozan's not a winner. SGA is MVP. See, we win things here in Canada. I'm going to put that in one of my bars. Well, here's the thing, man. If they want to talk, I'm down. But I'm saying it for this perspective here. OKC really has to do some soul searching. Absolutely. Um, Cool Eagle has landed. Hope you're ready for the NFL season. We will be live for the Knicks game tomorrow. You know that. Um, Saying that the NBA needs more games. This was not a competitive series. I stopped watching the OKC series all the way through because that was a waste of 2 hours. This game was over from when it started. This team mentally isn't ready for the next level. They have all the pieces to win a championship. They really do. It's just that they have to believe they have all the pieces to win an NBA championship. And they have to say, okay, how did we lose this series? What do we have to do to get better so that when the other teams do something, it doesn't matter what they do? And that's what OKC did to them defensively. Getting Anthony Edwards out of his spots, out of his comfort. See, Anthony Edwards have to learn how to be uncomfortable. He has not learned how to be uncomfortable yet on the basketball court. Therefore, his game is where it is now. It's stagnant, it's dry, it's dull, and it's not where it used to be. Where everyone else's game has elevated, his has digressed. Now, I know a lot of people might not believe it, but the truth of the matter is the Chicago Bears will win the championship, win the Super Bowl against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, now, Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, decided not to go down that route. Mm-hmm. The Chicago Bears. That's right. Bear down. Today did Minnesota fight. They fought as long as they could. Then they quit. They quit in this game. They absolutely quit. And something very, very interesting happened in the middle of them quitting. I mean, I just never seen a team give up like that. And Mike Conley's there, and he had to endure this. Like Mike ain't got that many runs left in him to try to win an NBA championship. And it was all about the post game with me. That was the craziest thing I've ever heard in a post game conference. Y'all talk about the last one. This was worse, way worse. Everybody was stealing my moniker, running around calling Anthony Edwards Campman, and giving everybody else. I heard them giving Skip Bayless credit for Campman, and I just like, I can't let you do that. You already gave him credit for Westbrook. You already gave him credit for all this other stuff. I'm like, let him have it. But that's it. It was over. I mean, Dante didn't do anything. Julius Randle came out to play and step it up, but it was meaningless. This game was done. They couldn't stop the Thunder no matter what. I mean, Shea had his usual 34, 8 and 7s. Chet Holmgren had 22. Jalen Williams had 19 this time. They actually kept him down. But again, he was still dominant. It was a runaway game. They ran away with this. Yeah, but when you start thinking about yeah, I know. Stealing my monikers, everything, man. It's like, what is going on? Next thing you know, they're gonna be going around. Yes, and OG ain't nobody. Watch, it's gonna happen. It ain't caught on yet. Somebody gonna go and take it. OG ain't nobody. Let's listen to this.
You view them as a obstacle in the future, and they obviously play a very specialized style, so unique to them own. How can you guys prepare between now and next year's playoffs to be better against that style?
That's so long from now. I don't know, but yeah, they're a great team. Well coached. Yeah, top to bottom, they're pretty good. So just tip my hat to those guys. Congrats and happy for them.
And what would you say, given, they have a bunch of switchable defenders and, throughout the series, it seemed like, a lot of the ball pressure that they had it got to, some of you guys with the turnover, especially today. What can you just say about, some of the uniqueness that they have defensively and some of the problems that they can
Yeah.
cause for you?
Yeah, they got a small lineup that they throw out there. I think with like Caruso at the 5, just a bunch of different lineups, man. Stuff that you really don't see. Kind of like the old Warriors would do. Go small, put Draymond at the 5. Yeah, and they super handsy. They pluck at the ball all night. They pressure the ball to get you out of your comfort zone, running plays and stuff. So they do a pretty good job, man.
And then also, like, it seems like they had inevitable runs kind of in this series. Like game 1, they went out big. You guys started to get a run. Same thing. They come back, respond.
Yeah.
Game 2, same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing today. What can you just say about, how frustrating kind of is that, being able to respond to each of the punches that,
Yeah.
they throw?
It's not frustrating, man. It's a part of the game. They're just a really, like I said, man, once again, they're a really good team. Everyone here knows it. It's no surprise to nobody that this team is pretty good. Yeah, so yeah, they was ready, man. They're very prepared. And like I said before, well coached, top to bottom.
And you won a gold medal, so you know what it's like to be a champ. You know what it's like to get to the championship game. NBA side, however, you came up short twice. Knowing what it's like to be on the winning side, how much does it hurt, and what does it feel like to come up short of the finals 2 years in a row?
It's exciting. I don't know why people would think it would hurt. I mean, it's exciting for me. I'm 23. I get to do it a whole bunch of times. I'm hurt more so for myself, for Mike. I came up short for Mike. Like I said, we tried last year. We couldn't get it. We tried again this year. We're gonna try again next year. But hurting is a terrible word to use. I'm good. Yeah.
And considering, like, looking at Mike and his longevity, how hard it is to get there, does that put this in perspective at all, too?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna work my butt off this summer. Nobody's gonna work harder than me this summer. I tell you that much. So, yeah, I'll try to make it happen again for Mike.
And Finchie was saying that he had a conversation with you earlier in the season when things were going a little rough and just said, hey, what does a successful season look like for you? And you said, let's just get to the playoffs, win around, and see what happens. Mm-hmm. Given that you exceeded that, like, how do you view what you guys were able to do, ultimately?
Oh, yeah, we thought it was going downhill. We thought it was over for us. I mean, at one point, we was looking real bad. It was bad for us. Then we got hurt. But like Mike said, we turned it around. And I remember having that conversation with him, like, we just got to get to the playoffs and we'll figure it out. So, yeah, man, we did pretty good this year, man. We just came up short again. And, yeah, try to do it again next year.
And does it take a little while, like last year, to realize the finality, to realize how close you might have gotten once the conference final ends?
How close I might have gotten to the finals?
Yeah.
I mean, we lost. I can't think about how close I might have gotten. We lost. That's all that matters. They was the better team. They came out and beat us, punched us in the face, and we lost the game. We lost the series.
And when you say nobody's going to work harder than you this summer, do you have any particular things that you want to work on headed into this offseason?
Yeah, I'm not going to give out that information. Yeah, I'm going to keep that in-house this time.
So this guy is the happiest guy I've known.
Man, you guys are in the Western
be
Conference 2
eliminated.
years in a row.
I mean, really. This dude said, I'm not bothered whatsoever. Look what he became the biggest OKC Thunder fan.
Like they on one string.
Yeah, they were like on one string. Defensively, they had a
15 puppets on one string.
plan. They executed it, and they didn't deviate from it. Those guys really locked in on that, and you can tell.
Like they on one string.
Yeah, they were like on one string. Defensively, they had a
15 puppets on one string.
plan. They executed it, and they didn't deviate from it. Those guys really locked in on that, and you can tell.
Like they on one string.
Yeah, they were like on one string. Defensively, they had a
15 puppets on one string.
15 puppets on one string. No, they would blitz at Anthony Edwards and take him out of his rhythm. If the second defender run up on him, what Anthony Edwards would do, if a second defender would run at him, he would meet that second defender, and once he met the second defender, he would freeze, like he wouldn't do anything. Yeah, meet the second defender, stop him in his tracks, and then once the second defender is there, he just stops his whole momentum, because what he is not good at is dribbling forward. He's good at dribbling side to side, get across a rhythm, pull up jump shot, and use his angle to get you to lean a little bit so he can drive forward, so he can dunk. He don't know how to pop, cross, and go directly at you. His whole thing is side to side. It's not that. It's not about him giving so much credit to OKC. He's actually doing that. That's not true. Another team will tell you exactly what another person is doing, but you got to get to the point like it don't matter what they doing. I don't care what they doing. They send 2, send 3, send 4. I got an answer for that. We got an answer for that. There's no situation you should face in the Western Conference Finals that your team can't adjust to, and you're in the Western Conference Finals. There's nothing anybody should be able to present to you that you have not seen, that you do not understand. They're doing nothing different than what any other team has done to you. Defensively, you have seen every scheme. You have seen every positional layout. Now, the way they was just effectively able to mentally make the Minnesota play their game and take them out of what they like to do. And when you stop Anthony Edwards from getting to his spots, it stagnates their offense. They're using a lot of the shot clock. And exerting a lot of energy. And defensively, they have to guard and defend OKC. Like I said, if the Pacers play the OKC Thunder in the NBA Finals, I'm happy with that. The NBA ain't going to have no problems out of me. Right. Anthony Edwards is not comfortable playing with his back to the basket. Same thing I said. That's the difference. Yep. Legendary scorers will get to their spot, raise up, and pop. Anthony Edwards don't got that. He doesn't know how to play with his back to the basket because he comes from a failed AAU system like Jalen Brunson. These people who are not taught the game of basketball, they taught one-on-one, let me cross, let me get to this spot, let me shove off and get some space and pull up and shoot. I hear people saying no way the Knicks lose game 5 in the Garden. And the NBA is just going to say no games. They got to have a game for the weekend. They can't go a weekend without no games. So they'll have a game on Saturday in Indiana. Well, that's fine. Any which way they want to do it, as long as the Knicks is out. That's all I care about. Anthony Edwards is the leader of the team. But Rudy Gobert can't play and give you 6 points a game. You can't allow that. They don't throw lobs and alley-oops to Rudy Gobert like they should. They miss reads on offense because they're too busy rocking and trying to get theirs, going one-on-one. Like I said, failed AAU basketball system. And because of it, he has natural ability, natural talent. No one really focuses on what the problem or the situation actually is. Well, it's going to be basketball versus basketball. And they're giving us this for the last time. So believe me, you're not going to see basketball next season or after everything's going to shift on its axis when it goes to NBC. You're going to be watching a sitcom. And I'm definitely going to sit back and see what happens. But yes, they're doing this, and it's one and done for this basketball era. Well, he has to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You have to put yourself in those double teams. You got to let people take you out your spot to see how you respond to that. So what you work on next summer don't mean nothing if you're just going to work on the same things you're already good at. I'm going to do more pull-up jump shots. I'm going to get myself going. I'm going to go in there and boy, I'm going to really work. I'm going to get myself more physically in shape. I'm going to do this. It's like, okay, you got to get yourself mentally in shape. It's not just physical, it's mental. You have to mentally be prepared to play in the NBA. You have to be mentally prepared to play to June. That stuff wears you down. And when you do it 6, 7 times in a row, you playing to June. You're like, whoa, this is taking a lot out of it. Now, the Pacers just might win the chip. I would like to see the Pacers get rid of these Knicks so that we can get to the OKC Indiana Pacers finals. That's what's imperative, is getting to the next level and going from there. That's Mike Mizzle. If Ant emulated Isaiah instead of MJ, he would be better. True. What is the usual? That what you saying? The usual? Well, the usual is standard. You want to make sure you're on an even kill with every team in the league. You want to make sure you've done your part. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that you are doing everything essentially that you need to do to be efficient. And as a champion and as a championship team, you want to make sure you're always in control of your foundation. You want to make sure that you're the one that's pulling the strings. You want to make sure that everything flows through you. If it's not flowing through you, it's not flowing. So that's what needs to be put on the forefront or the back burner or the table. That's what we need to remember, in other words. What we don't need is people getting involved who are not enlightened, not usually on the cusp of what's going on. They're behind the 8 ball. In the end of the day, that's going to hurt people, not help them. A 100%. Well, if you like Anthony Edwards, I want to say congratulations to you. I think he has the potential to be a great player if he makes these adjustments and changes to his game. Him assuming because he's 23, he can keep doing this 7, 8 times in a row. Unfortunately, it don't happen that way, Anthony. Teams change, players move. You don't have all this time to keep doing it. It seems like it because you're 23. You don't understand yet. Kobe thought, here he is, 23 years old. He got like 3 NBA championships. He's thinking, okay, this is what's going to take. We're going to be in this probably forever. He's thinking 6, 7, 8, 9 championships. He wants to continue the streak. It hurt him to lose. It bothers him when he loses. And he wanted to win 4 in a row. Unlike what happened with Jordan and the Bulls, he wanted to win 4 in a row. Mike won 3 in a row twice. Kobe wanted to win 4 in a row. So he could have something to say about Mike. To say, like, he never won 4 straight. Mike's like, I left when we won 3. If I'd have stayed, we would have won probably 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's the argument. The argument has always been made. Like, which one could the Bulls have continued on? Could they have soldiered through? But for Anthony Edwards, that's a whole different reality. For Anthony Edwards, he's stuck in what you would call a matrix. Yeah, he's in a conundrum where there's no way out. There's only in. It's only through. In other words, perhaps he will get there. I seriously doubt it. Most of these young players today are stuck in their what we call the era of this, the era of that. This is the era of this, and they're in the you can't tell us anything anymore. You're an old head. So once you're an old head, you're completely somebody that can't be trusted, can't be talked to, can't be reasoned with. I would drop the link, Bloody Nuts, but the reason why I'm not is because I'm getting ready to leave. So I do want to say thank y'all, man, for showing support to the live stream, coming in these videos, man, making them pop, making them better than what they are to the rest of the world, everybody else. And definitely my Patreon brothers who come in and show love and support each time. I just think it's crazy how much of an OKC fan Anthony Edwards is. I mean, it's okay to give him credit, but my gosh, he act like he's doing commentary. Like he wasn't out there competing against them at all. Man, they were great. Man, it was like 15 of them on the string, man. Yeah, man, they teamed me up, man, and my team. Man, you see, man, they were saying Caruso, put him at the 5. Man, that's sort of like when Golden State do it with Draymond, when they go small, put Draymond in at the 5. Man, they was on it. Man, they were cold. Man, I'm telling you, baby. Okay, see. I mean, dog, it was the most embarrassing post game I've ever seen. Man, I can do this forever, man. I'm 23. Mike's sitting there like, yeah, I do hurt for Mike, though. Yeah, because Mike old. Mike only got, I'm going to try to do one more year with Mike. You know, we're going to try to do it for one more year, Mike. We got here twice. Yeah, I'm going to come back for Mike. Yeah, Mike over here. Yeah, Mike old. So he ain't got that much time. So I feel bad for Mike. We're going to try to come back for Mike, man. We're going to try to figure it out. It was embarrassing. To say the least, it was all embarrassing. He put his foot in his mouth every time he talks because he's young and he's brash. But you got to remember, both his parents are dead. He was raised by his brother. And, you know, his grandmother passed, his mother passed. And he basically was just raised. You know, he was like, what? In 8th grade, you know, when he lost his parents, you know, so they had legal guardianship over him and they took care of him. They don't talk about the Anthony Edwards story enough. So that just shows you how much the NBA just don't care. Now, if he goes to the NBA Finals, then they'll run this story over and over again. So his brother and sister raised him. So, of course, it's a whole different laxed feeling. There's no one really to check his aggression. He's making hundreds of millions of dollars. So how you could tell what he doing? Tell him what he doing is wrong. This is what I mean by mentally breaking a team. The same thing that happened to the Knicks. They're not a mentally strong team either. There's a lot of infighting going on the team, at this level, the infighting should be over. I shouldn't be fighting with Cat. I shouldn't be fighting with OG. I shouldn't be fighting with Miles Bridges. I shouldn't be fighting with Brunson. Everybody need to be locked in on what's happening. Because it's a lot of beta males out there. And as I told you, I learned the truth about Jalen Brunson out here, that he's not so beloved. He tried to, well, I wouldn't say he bullied my cousin, but he was an a-hole to my cousin. Then to make matters worse, which he did, made matters worse, he was arrogant, very arrogant. We talked to some other people that went to Stevenson with him earlier today, and they said Jalen Brunson was a very arrogant person in high school. His father didn't want him conversating with a lot of people. He was, no, don't build up a lot of relationships. You only need about 5 good ones. You know, these guys will be hanging on to you forever, talking about how they knew you and all this and trying to get fame off you. This is when he's in high school. His father thinking he going to the NBA from high school. It's like, are you dreaming? They never thought he would have a long career. They were just hoping he was able to have a average career, not being a face of a team. That was never the vision. It was get him on the team, you know, in college, let him play. Once he won the national championship, he stayed again. Most people win a national championship, they go straight to the pros. They stayed because he wasn't draftable. They were like, he's not going to get drafted if he goes to the draft this year. No one's checking for a 5'2" point guard who can't guard anybody. No, he didn't bully my cousin. He came and he just disrespected my cousin. My cousin showed him love and respect at a game or whatever. He was like, hey, man, how you doing? You know, and for them to be like this school, Stevenson, right, is predominantly where a lot of Jewish kids go to school. And for you to disrespect him like that was very disrespectful in front of all those Jewish people. There's not a lot of black people there. You know, he's a mixed kid. You look like a mixed kid. So for y'all to be in this situation where y'all are outnumbered, you know, for y'all to show some solidarity, some unity. They didn't do it. So that's how they lost. No, the Knicks go all the way. Now you got a whole different thing going on. Now you got the comeback story of the Knicks. The NBA's got their storylines. They got the Knicks. They got celebrities at the game. You got OKC there. You got a circus. The comeback Knicks. They're the comeback story of the NBA. How they be down and they fight back. That's gritty New York. So the storyline's already set. That's what the Knicks fans are hoping, that they're still sticking to this script. But basketball reasons are the reasons that they're eliminated and that they're not moving. Well, everything is more expensive now, so the cost of living is up. That somebody in 2 years could make more money than what Isaiah Thomas made in his whole career playing in the NBA. You know, guys in the 80s who built this league to make it exciting didn't get a third of the money these guys are getting. And most of them can't even play. It's off the sweat of their brows. They built this league. They made it essential for you to be great. They made it to the point where you need to know what you're doing on the basketball court. They did all this. So it's hurtful when you see people are not doing the things that they normally would do or usually would do in these scenarios and situations. So my Anthony Edwards jersey hung up. I don't believe the Knicks can come back from 3-1. Cat's really hurt. His knee is sore. He's not going to be ready in 2 days. Um, he said 580 million for 5 years. I mean, that's where we're headed now. We're in the 50 million a year seasons, 40 million a year seasons now with this new deal that they're getting. So you're going to be looking at a final year deal of maybe $70 million, 80 million. It's crazy. These number evaluations, and it's all based off inflation because the NBA's popularity numbers, where it seems popular on social media, getting people's attention to watch it, where your ad revenue is, that's the key. You got to get people to watch the actual games. So they're trying to make money in all these other facets. It's like, well, we got to have it where everyone can stream it on the phone. They can, get it downloaded. They could do all of these different things. Yes, different day, different valuations. So a lot of people going in a lot of different directions because that's what they normally would do. Yeah, man, the league is going to put the chair underneath Shea for 2 years the same way they did Joker. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're going to do. Shea and them always going to be a threat in the West. Then they'll get beat by the Lakers. And, we're going to see a whole new era of sitcom basketball. And when you get sitcom basketball, NBC is going to make it theater. It's going to be a program you watch. It's going to be a theme. Can Luka and the Lakers bounce back and learn how to play together after finally having a full camp with each other? And that's what Luka is talking about. Luka was like, because they don't practice. And he's never been on a team that never practiced, like the Lakers. So he didn't. The only way he got a chance to get to know the guys was on the court, playing in the actual games. Now he gets to have a full season, a camp, so they can practice and they can get some repetition in, so he can actually get a rhythm being around these guys. Then the game changes. Spurs and Oklahoma City rivalry coming soon. Yeah, while they build up Wemby, Wemby's got to come back from what his injury is, and I just don't think Wemby has a very long career. I just really don't. I think he's too light. Um, he's 7 feet tall, but his body has to really adjust to this for 82 games, and that's going to be taxing on his body. But it's not hard to have a winning team in San Antonio based on Pop's system and how he runs the game. You just got to have the right pieces in place, the personnel. And what's been coming out of college lately haven't been cutting the mustard. You might have one or two players, or maybe three, that's could play this game. Other people are just developmental players. Well, Jalen Brunson, I don't see Jalen Brunson being all NBA player next year. I just don't. I mean, I think the gig is up. Everybody's kind of figured him out. So I think that's where we are with Jalen Brunson, is that he's done. It's time to move on and get, real talent. Well, when you're on the scope of doing everything on a string, um, you're seeing the development of real talent on the basketball court. It is not something that is ideal or not perfect. What you're doing is you're altering the actual work and the process that people are putting in daily. So, yes, Butterball got to go. So, anyway, man, thank y'all for the time. Appreciate y'all. We're going to get back with y'all directly. And we up out. Deuces. I support my brother, Solomon Hill, baby. He was just out there playing defense. It ain't his fault LeBron can't move his feet.